All right, good morning. Happy Monday. Not so happy in Birdland. It's 15-30. That's the record. We fired our manager and somehow replaced him with somebody that does not even want to be a manager of a baseball team. I cannot believe what the Orioles have done. Let's just get right into it with Tony Mansolino. Wow, like these press conferences, he feels like a hostage here. Like who? Okay. Tony Mansolino, I'm sure, is a great baseball man, and I'm sure he knows way more about baseball than me, but he doesn't even want to be the manager. So if you fire the manager, if you fire the CEO of an organization, the whole point of doing it in a spot like this, an unexpected time when things aren't going well, to get a better performance out of the rest of the employees, in this case, the baseball players. So the new manager has to have a different personality, a different voice. Something has to be different, or there's just no point in doing it. And I mean, he seems like a really nice guy. I mean, but he loves Brandon Hyde, number one, and then number two, he won't even concede to the easy questions that Kevin Brown was serving up for him yesterday, which was like, "Isn't this your dream job? Your dad's a manager," and he's like, "Well, kind of, sort of, maybe, but I was pretty content in just doing this." Being third base coach was great. I just can't believe this. So I'm not going to bag on the guy because what was he supposed to do? Say no to the job? Obviously not, but he doesn't even really want the job. I mean, you go listen to the press conference and tell me that I'm overreacting here, but I swear he does not want this job. So he gets the job. They could have given it to Buck Britton. He definitely would have wanted the job, whether he's ready for it or not. He wants the job, right? He's moving up in the organization. He wants the job. I think if you listen, anyway. Uh, Robinson Cherna, he wants a job. He wants to be a manager one day. Why else is he a bench coach? Holy moly, they could have hired somebody brand new and jolted the team that way, but instead they bring in like a nicer version of Hyde to deliver the same exact message to the players. He literally said the other day, whether it was yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, that he sucked as a minor league player. So like that's going to make him a good manager because he's going to be positive. I mean, my goodness. So Mike Elias, clearly, I said it last week, before this disaster of a week, that he should be fired, not Brandon Hyde. I wanted Brandon Hyde to be fired at the end of last year. But first of all, Mansolino can't be the replacement. It's punting on the season because he clearly doesn't want the job. So that was disheartening. Now to Brandon Hyde. Brandon Hyde spent his whole life, I guess, in baseball, right? He wanted to be a professional Major League Baseball player like so many people, and that didn't work out. And he gets into coaching since 2005. And, I think the reality is he's probably glad he got fired because if he has to stick around much longer, maybe he doesn't get another job. He'll be a manager somewhere else next year or the year after, depending on what he wants to do. He's 51 years old. He's a really good manager. He rebuilt the team. He took the job after working in baseball for like 17 years, knowing we were trying to lose. And he took the job. And because he knows baseball, he's been around baseball, he could help develop the players. That's why all the players liked him. If you wanted to fire him, you fire him at the end of last year and you nicely tell him, thank you, but we don't think you can get it done in the playoffs. And we just think our younger players need somebody that's already done it, maybe at a higher level, excuse me, maybe a different voice. And that's a 50-50 debate. I was on the side of firing Hyde, but you could really argue that after the playoffs last year, it could go either way. What you don't do to somebody who is a baseball guy is fire him the way Elias just did. You don't fire him after the worst loss of the season when he literally did nothing wrong. There's certain games he does a lot wrong. What did he do wrong Friday night? I mean, we had 11 hits in 3 or 4 innings and had 2 runs. Uh, Forget that game. I can't even talk about that game. But how do you fire the manager after that game? Because you don't love his press conference after the game. I mean, we're lucky he even does a press conference after the game with some of these losses. So that's just not good business. Number one, it's not how you treat somebody. You fire them. You don't fire them in the morning of a game, in the middle of a homestand after a loss like that. It's just not the right thing to do. You want to fire them, you fire them Sunday night, and then before the road trip. You just don't do it that way. That's number one. Number two, you don't fire him when I said this last week when I said Elias has to be fired. The team's not going to rally because they don't blame the manager, right? It's not one of those situations where, anybody actually blames the manager. You might not love some of the lineups, but I mean, it's the team is way worse than that, and it's too many flaws. And if you fire the manager, it's not good for business because you're basically scaring off any good young manager who wants to come here if the scapegoat's going to be, yeah, we're going to fire the manager once the GM doesn't know what he's doing and the players don't progress. Boom, there goes the manager. So Rubenstein clearly we'll get to him in a second, but he let Elias make the decision because the only person that wanted Hyde fired was Mike Elias. And that was, if you didn't think that before the firing, all you had to do is listen to the players afterwards. So what a disaster that was. They completely butchered the Hyde situation. I'll wish him good luck. Hopefully he'll be a manager somewhere else. But I just thought that was incredibly insensitive because no one cares what that long statement is about how much you thanked them. Doing it on a Saturday morning like that after the players sucked that Friday night. What did you think was going to happen? Of course, they're going to blame themselves. Like, damn, we knew we were going to get them fired if we weren't going to play good. But yeah, we were so bad on Friday night, so disheartening. Worst loss of the year, and they lost 24-2 on Easter. So what are we even talking about? Just not the right time. I'm telling you, Elias has no pulse of the team. He hasn't had a pulse of the team for years. So let's get to him. All right, I'll double down on what I said a week ago, but now it's 10 times worse because now he really doesn't, the players don't like him because now you fired the manager and they didn't want you to fire the manager. Not one single player. You know how hard that is in professional sports to not find anybody that didn't want the manager to be fired? Like nobody. That's evident in the first two games, right? As Gibson and Eflin, lose the game within 15 minutes. So there's just he has no pulse of the team. And you go back to the trades. I've said this before, but yeah, in the reality is they're human beings. They grew up together. They're in the minor leagues together. If you're going to break that up, if you're going to start trading off Joey Ortiz and you're going to rent a guy for a year, that's not going to land well. And then when Stowers outplays Cowser and Kerstead, and he still doesn't get the playing time, and then he forces himself in the playing time and outplays him in the majors, and you trade him, it sends the wrong message. Same thing with Norby, and then you don't pay anybody. So if you're trading guys, you're not paying anybody. Nobody's from Baltimore. Westberg and Adley and Gunner and Cal, nobody's from Baltimore. They know how baseball works, and they see other teams paying other players, and you're trading away my friends. You're not bringing up guys when you're supposed to. Then you're rushing the Jackson Holiday show up last year. I mean, how embarrassing is that? A media frenzy for a kid that's never played. That kind of stuff doesn't land well with the team. Just doesn't. And there's no pulse of the team. That's why the team flatlined. That's why there's no recognition, for example, to keep Cole Irvin around, clubhouse leader. They ship him out. Same thing with Danny Coulomb, the veteran presence in the bullpen. It's embarrassing what's happened here with Elias, but when I trace it back, I decided to go a little deeper into the psychology of why he screwed this all up. And he screwed this all up, in my opinion, because he has too big of an ego. He was a pitcher in 2006. His sophomore year in college, gets hurt. Then his career's over, and then has made a philosophical decision. It seems like ever since that he just doesn't value developing pitching. So we have no pitching. So that's the first flaw. So you have to look at that as a philosophical flaw. But if you want to give him a break on it and say, hey, well, the Astros, where he cut his teeth, they did it with veteran pitching, so that's the business model he's going to follow, fine. But he didn't follow through with that by being able to sign more than all he got was Corbin Burns, and he couldn't keep him. Whether or not that was the right guy, fine, whatever. But he didn't do it the Astros. The Astros got 2, 3, 4 starters, top line starters, kept him for a couple years. So he wasn't able to do that. And then, look, here's the thing. Yeah, there's 30 teams. So if you get a job and let's kind of, just call it a spade here. He gets the job from a gentleman who was looking to hire somebody who didn't want to spend any money and who is just dying to be a general manager, it's his first job. I mean, what's he like 35, 36 at the time he gets the job. And he agreed with Angelos to not spend any money. And we're purposely going to lose. So if you are willing to do that, if you're going to sacrifice to do that, how many smart guys are there in baseball to be like, yeah, if you let me lose for 3 years in a row, I'm going to develop some pretty good talent too. Like that's not the hardest thing to do. So when you look back on it and you're willing to give them credit for some of the draft picks, now once things hit the fan and he's not able to supplement them with the right pieces, now you got to go back to the Bobby Witt, Adley Rutschman draft. And you don't want to do it because it makes you feel yuck inside as a fan, especially when you're older than the players. It's one thing for, I guess, younger people to get mad at Gunnar and Adley and, some of the guys that are underperforming, Jackson last year. But when you're older than them, you try to look at it from, is it really their fault or could something have been done differently? And now that, here we are, it's like, man, everything that Elias has, every button he pressed was perfect. It felt like it because we were grading him on such a low bar because we allowed him to lose. As long as you were going to reinvest in the farm system and give us a chance. And now when you look back on it, how many guys in baseball could have done that? Yeah, he made a couple good draft picks. And yeah, how many guys could have done that? How many guys could have developed some talent? The real key in baseball, what separates a great general manager from just a really smart baseball guy, is when the pressure's on. Can you read the team and can you make the necessary trades and execute to get your team over the hump? Because there's too many smart guys in baseball. There's a lot of smart guys in business. Not everybody's fit to be the CEO. A lot of guys are fit to be the analysts. Same thing in a law firm. Same thing in anything, right? There's some guys that are meant to be first chair and some guys that are just they're smart, they're really good, they're good in the processing phase, but when the heat's on and you got to make a decision, not everybody can do it, not everybody can handle it. Mike Elias can't handle it with the Orioles. It's over. He's done. He's got to go somewhere else and someone else can give him a chance to do it. So that leads to the boss man. Luckily, so there's two ways to look at it. Let's go from the positive side first. Luckily, the owner of the Orioles is a really successful businessman. On the short list of successful businessmen, there he is. So he obviously knows business. This is a business, but he doesn't know baseball. So that's the one positive. And the second, on the other end of it, is he's admittedly knows nothing about baseball. So he bought the team as a legacy thing. He bought the team to be a fan. That's why he's got bobbleheads and he's splashing himself and wearing clown hats and having a blast. Nothing wrong with that. But now shit's hit the fan. He's used to shit hitting the fan. I mean, things have hit the fan for him for 70 years and he's figured it out to the point where he's able to throw away money to own a baseball team. So now what is he going to do? And the first time that shit hit the fan, he decided, you know what, I got other things to do with myself, and I'm just going to let these guys make the decisions. And these guys is Mike Elias in the front office. Mike Elias gets to make the decision because Rubenstein let him. Rubenstein lets him make a decision, and the Orioles are a flaming disaster. The only thing that could save the Orioles is Rubenstein stepping in and being like, I don't know baseball, but I agree with that Ryan kid said. That makes a lot of sense. Like, a lot of people are smart in baseball. They could have drafted people, and sure, we can spend money and develop people and look at computers and plug in formulas, but you failed in your moment, and the window is now over in your era because now you're biased. Now you need to make your draft picks work. You need to make the trades work. You're fighting a PR battle. We're not headed towards the World Series, so I need to switch it, pay you whatever I owe you, see you later, and just bring someone else in. And the longer you wait to do that, the longer you wait to do that, the bigger the chance that Gunnar and Jackson whisper to their agents like, yeah, the quicker we can get out of here, the better. And that is depressing. So Rubenstein, if you want to save the deal, if you want to save everything, do to Elias what Elias did to Hyde and be like, listen, I got to get somebody else in here before the trade deadline. I can't let him be in charge of this because yep, it's over. So with that being said, Alex Caruso somehow defended Nikolai Jokic yesterday, Nikola Jokic, the Joker. I don't like being wrong about betting on sports, especially basketball. I really don't like being wrong about game seven. I really don't like watching a game seven that I have to turn off before the third quarter felt like even started. But you know what? If you're going to try to catch the ball 25 feet away from the basket, 20 feet away, 15 feet away, and you're 8 inches bigger and 60 pounds heavier than the guy guarding you, then you basically deserve what's going to happen. So the Nuggets could not make an adjustment. They're winning 21-10 to start the game, get off to a great start, and then the Thunder just put Alex Caruso and Jokic, and the Nuggets completely fall apart. They can't make an entry pass to the post, and part of it is the passing wasn't great, but Jokic couldn't seal him because he's trying to catch the ball too far away from the basket. And give the Thunder credit. Once you turn the ball over against them, I haven't seen a team that resembles a college team more than the Thunder at the NBA level. Just the way they capitalize on turnovers reminds me of UConn the past couple of years. So they blitz the crap out of Denver. I lose that game. The Celtics get blown out against the Knicks. What a disaster for the NBA this weekend. Man, just like must-win games, and the games are just over at halftime. So got that one wrong. I don't know. Just didn't see that coming. But yeah, Celtics couldn't score. It took them a while to get going. They finally just basically waved the white flag there against the Knicks, and the Knicks kicked their ass. Pacers Knicks comes up on Wednesday. My initial thoughts are the Pacers are going to beat them because the Knicks celebrated too much for beating the Celtics, and the Knicks just don't have enough players. Somebody might get hurt. Seems like players are getting hurt so much now. So I would favor the Pacers in that series. It's probably a 50-50 series. Knicks do get home field advantage. So that is a big deal. But I think this Pacers team is right for the finals. So I'll take the Pacers. And the Timberwolves Thunder is going to be a great series. They played the best game probably of the NBA regular season, an overtime game where Ant blocked Shea at the rim in Oklahoma City. I'll take the Timberwolves when they're in Oklahoma City to get those points, even though it burned me yesterday. Should be a 50-50 series. Great series. Great basketball to look forward to. Just a sour note the way these other series ended. So, yeah, my games just started off this week good, but didn't end it very good. Orioles are in Milwaukee. Those are my thoughts there with Elias. I'm going to start giving thoughts on the players here as we move along, but the reality is we need more data. That's why I need somebody else to come in here and reevaluate, especially when Stowers is hitting the cover off the ball for the Marlins. And Trevor Rogers is the worst pitcher in AAA. So we just I don't like bagging on people, but it is my Orioles. I'd like to be able to root for them. We're 15-30. Like we're 15-30. I was pessimistic before the season started, and we're 15-30, and I was nowhere near that. So, all right, no Darius Washington. That happened since the last time I popped on. That really sucks. Really feel bad for him. That's just awful. Safety for the Ravens. You only get one chance, maybe two if you're really blessed to get paid in the NFL. We always talk about the best players, but most guys don't get paid. He was going to get paid if he had one more good year. And instead, he's going to have to play for cheap next year, and it just sucks. So, all right, have a good day. Yeah, I'll find something positive next time I pop one here. Yeah, have a great day, guys. See ya.